Welcome to the MindPower Paradigm with Natalie
Ellie?
and you. We're so excited to be here today. This has been probably a topic that we talked about in the past or often, but I heard a quote and I'll probably butcher it, but it was from James Clear and it had said, "Every action you take is a vote for the kind of person you want to become." And when I heard that, ever just hear a quote, Ellie, and it just hits you like you feel
Mhm.
it. Like I felt that quote. I felt it for myself. I felt it for all of the clients I worked with. And it is so true.
Mhm.
Every action you take in every 24 hours that's presented to you is either a vote in the bucket for the person that you don't want to become or a vote in the bucket for the person you want to become. And I
Mhm.
just thought, what a great quote to open today.
Yeah, it's extremely powerful. Again, it's every action that we take leads to some sort of, it leads somewhere. Okay. Every action, every choice we do leads us somewhere, leads us down a particular path.
Right?
So, I think it's an absolutely great quote. And
I love it. I love it. And I think it plays a part into like motivation. I get a lot of questions about, how do you stay motivated, right? And motivation and action are pretty much linked to one another,
Mhm,
right? But
mhm, mhm,
you become motivated and then you take action.
mhm.
So, how do you get more votes in the bucket towards the person you want to become? Well, I mean, I didn't look this up in the dictionary or anything, but motivation to me is just the desire to want to do the thing, right? It's
Right.
the desire to wake up and do the thing that you said you would do. What does motivation mean to you?
Well, this is kind of a loaded question because, in terms of motivation, we were talking a little bit about this before the call. We have a finite amount of energy. So people choose or they make choices as to where they're going to use their energy. So, quote unquote, their motivation. So, not to take it a different side, down a different path now, I see motivation not necessarily as the force that drives us. We may be motivated for a few moments in time, like, oh, I'm motivated to go to the gym today. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
motivated today to cut out all of the refined sugars. Well, okay, I'm motivated to that. And then again, this gets back into my favorite topic is integrity. Now we've said something, we've made a commitment to ourselves, perhaps to other people, and we came out with the words, I am going to do this, I'm going to do this. And then we follow it up with our personal integrity. I said I was going to do this, so therefore I'm going to honor my personal integrity and I will do it. And then that to me gets the ball rolling. So without integrity, nothing works. So if you could have be as motivated as you want to be, it's not going to get you off the couch. What will get you off the couch is honoring the word that you gave yourself or the word that you gave to other people.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I think though somewhere along those lines, right, as we were talking earlier, is, and I say this with the kindest heart, but there's this sense of entitlement in this world, right? So all of a sudden, let's just say for 1 week, you are motivated to go to the gym, you are motivated to eat healthy, you are motivated to spend the hours needed in that business or on that relationship to help it grow. And motivation only gets us so far because what happens is I feel like we get this wave of entitlement, right? And I just think the entire world is feels entitled sometimes in the sense of think about it. There's Amazon. All you gotta do is click a button and it's at your door that day or the next day, right? Like you're entitled to get things quick. And listen, when things actually take 3 to 5 business days to come, where's my stuff? Oh my God, it's running late, right? Just to think about it. I mean, I don't know what the people did back in the day when there was snail mail. I mean, let's just like call it for what it is, right? So there's this sense of entitlement, like I ate healthy for a day, or I did great all week. Why didn't the scale move? Or, I showed up to the gym, I did abs for 15 minutes for the last 5 days. Like, I don't see any abs. I'm entitled to have abs. Or I didn't have my grand opening at my online store or storefront, and like I didn't make 10 grand or like yet. Like, should I just close up shop? Should I just forget doing abs? And there's just this sense of entitlement.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I don't want to bash social media or bash our technology. That's not the point of all of this. But it
Right.
is known that if we do, but look, let's go back. A lot of people may not know. A lot of people may not know who these authors are, but the Bronte sisters, Emily, and I forget the other one name. They were famous writers during their time, and their work is still known today. And movies are still made using, about their work. The point is that this gets back into research that was done called the Talent Code. And in the Talent Code, what the author discovered, the researcher discovered, whose name is like not on the tip of my tongue, but I can go find it. Anyway,
Right.
you could all look it up, and I'll put the link. I'll put the link to the books in the bottom of the YouTube. So there's the Talent Code, and then there's James Cleary Atomic Habits also. And getting back to the Talent Code and immediate stuff, people do not know that there really truly is, you want to call it a 20-year background before we get what we want, or the 10,000 hours of putting in the stuff. So people who have done the work, who have become successful, if you trace back their roots and you look at the process, you're going to see they didn't start working and getting results overnight. This goes back. They've been working on this for at least 10,000 hours plus, sometimes 20 years. There's that old cliche. Oh, he became an overnight success. No, he didn't become an overnight success. It took him 20 years of work to get where he is right now. And this is a cultural phenomena because of everything being so fast at our fingertips. We forget all of this. We remember, you get a text message, you think you need to respond now. you
Mhm.
know, Back in the day, before we had all of this instant electronic communication, like you were saying earlier, snail mail, okay,
Yeah.
not being in communication with people for months because they lived
Mhm.
in remote Russia. Think of Dr. Zhivago stories, okay, and having a war and then getting communication 5 years later. All right, what did people do? They lived.
Yeah.
They lived.
I did other things. Yeah. And I mean, you know, it's okay to feel entitled. I mean, I feel entitled sometimes, like, why isn't this happening faster? But then I have to, I have to catch myself. And it's all about just catching yourself and being like, take a breather, right? And
Mhm.
not allowing your irrational mind to control you. You have to tap into that rational mind. I mean, like you said, being an overnight, like these people don't just become an overnight success. They've worked day in and day out. They failed, they succeeded, they failed, they succeeded, and failure and success are always married together. But what I can tell you is, even with all my clients that I work with in the health and wellness industry, is that it takes 66 days to build a solid habit. 66
Mhm.
days of doing something consistently to build a habit. So, you know, and to start identifying as that type of person, right? So you may not be a runner today, but if you show up for 66 days and run, let's just say 1 mile each day, you're gonna identify as, I am a runner. But how do you stay motivated to
Mhm.
to do these things, right? Like
Mhm.
we were talking, there are things in our life that we just do. We're not motivated to do them, like brushing your
Mhm.
teeth every
Mhm.
morning, taking your kids to school. You have a choice. You don't have to take your kids to school. You don't have to brush your teeth. I mean, listen, you can walk around with yellow teeth. That's on you.
Mhm.
So, Ellie, why in life do we just do these things without even an emotion or a thought attached to it? But yet when it comes to eating healthy or working on our business or working on a relationship that's suffering or losing weight, why do we have to be motivated?
Again, this we don't, right? We don't have to be motivated. We don't have to do anything. I really do believe it gets back to the energy level that we were talking about before. It is easier to, from an energy point of view, because we are all frequency, we are energy. It is easier to do nothing, of a body in action, okay, a body in rest, the motion. All right, that takes so little energy. We're just there, okay. And part of the thing that you got me thinking a little bit now, remember, you can be a body in action, and yet at the same time you'll be distracted by your phone, your television set, food that is readily available that you can have delivered. You don't even need to go out of your house. So
Mhm.
your body is truly in a state of inaction. So the energy level that it takes now when you're in this, it takes something to, like think about one of those little balls, click and the balls all start going like that.
Yeah.
Something has to come to an external force has to come to make that body, let's say our bodies that are sitting on the couch wanting to do nothing, something has to come to kick that body into action. I don't believe that a person of their own free accord, once they're in that space, this gets back to the pain point, right? Once they're in that space of using zero energy and just sitting there and watching TV and wallowing in their misery and feeling sad and sorry for themselves, that a pain point is going to have to come. It's not going to, not necessarily internal, that they're going to get up and say, oh, I'm going to go to the gym now. I've been sitting here for 2 hours and I'm really sitting here and I think I'm going to make my way over to bed, or maybe I'll just grab a pillow and sleep on the sofa. Okay.
Right. Right.
So something has to come, probably external, call it a third force. Something's got to come, boom, and click to get those little balls moving into action. And most of the time, it's not coming from within the self. It is a pain point. The doctor may say to you, you know what, Natalie,
Yeah.
you got to quit smoking or have lung cancer. And then that's that pain point. All right. So I think a lot of people, this is just my opinion, I can't speak for everyone, obviously,
Right.
duh. But people are looking for that external source, that external thing that will, like I call it third force, that will force them off the sofa into action.
Yeah, yeah, and naturally, I think it's just consistency, right? Because each day that you do it, you're gonna wake up feeling better and better. So like the reinforcement is going to drive you forward, right? Like,
Mhm.
and I truly believe that's when you become motivated. I don't believe that motivation is what gets you off the couch. Maybe it's a pain point that gets you off the couch, but I believe that motivation comes after you have gotten started in consistency.
Oh, absolutely.
Because
I agree.
yeah, yeah, because you're
Because the
getting
body,
reinforced.
right, just think about it as a bot. Now the body's in motion. Okay, the
Yeah,
body's in motion, and so
yeah,
something
yeah,
would have to come to stop it. Okay, but
right.
basically the body's in motion. That's the cliche. You're on a roll. You're on a roll. The body's in motion. Boom, boom, boom.
There you go. And then
Yeah.
you start believing in yourself,
Hmm.
right? Like once
Hmm.
the body's in motion and you start seeing success
Hmm.
day in and day out, you start identifying like I can do this. I can work
Yeah.
out. I
Yeah.
can eat healthy.
Yeah.
And then, so their balls are going, you start believing in yourself. You start, having like identifying with yourself as a healthier human being. And, as we said during before, that analogy of, your beliefs are the fire
Hmm.
and your thoughts are the logs. And every time you work out or you eat healthy or you grow your business, you have this thought like, I can do this. Look at me. I
Hmm.
can do this. And then
Hmm.
you're throwing another log on that fire and that fire is growing,
Yeah.
right? And then you become more confident. And then all of a sudden, one day you just wake up and you just do. You
Right.
just eat
Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah.
You just make 10 grand a month. You just, so it's like, it's belief,
Hmm.
I guess we should really just end with maybe some tips for everyone of how do you do that?
Hmm. Well,
The
my tip.
loaded question.
My tip is always, what's it going to take? All right.
Yeah.
Like, what's it going to take to get me off the couch today? Or what's it going to take? What's it going to take? What's it going to take? And then I tell my clients, look for evidence. All right. So once you start, you're calling it putting logs on the fire and the fire will grow. I say, look for evidence. Find evidence. Oh, I worked out today at the gym. Somebody came up to me and said, wow, you're looking good. Okay, evidence. Oh, this is happening. Look at your bank account. Oh, I made these sales. Evidence. So start collecting evidence. Sometimes I tell my clients, get an evidence journal. It's a
Love
little
that.
notebook. Write it down on your notes in your phone if that's what you like. Start collecting evidence. You can go back during the day and look. The evidence will keep you, that is the logs on the fire, will keep it burning. And then you'll say, wow, wow, this is good. This is good. I got evidence. It's working. It's working.
I love that. I
The
love that.
fire is burning.
Because
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Like maybe just draw a fire and with some logs, get some Velcro, grow that. I don't know. I'm so big on visuals, right? So big. And lastly, I'll end with find yourself a community of like-minded people that are all working towards a common goal.
Absolutely.
Because, I'll just call it out for what it is. We have a group of football parents within my community, and some are at all different levels in their health. And I took the second phase of the initiative in my own health come April 1st. So I'm now in my second phase and in my cup. But I had invited all of them in to my world. What do you guys think about X, Y, and Z, putting a steps challenge together, doing better, being that example for our children? And guess what? Community is everything, because these people since April 1st are flourishing. They're getting up every morning and walking. They're going to bed with a walk around the block. They're eating healthier. They're excited for life again. They're breathing, air back into their lungs. So you are who you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
Find yourself a community.
Absolutely. Totally agree, Natalie. Totally
Yeah.
agree. Who's your posse, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for
Yeah.
sure. So
Mhm.
good stuff today, Ellie.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. All right, everybody, you know where to find us. Links are under the YouTube video. Please hit the subscribe button. And Natalie, have a great weekend. Everybody,
Yeah.
you have a great weekend. See you all next week. Contact us. The website's working, everything's there. All right. Thank you. Lots of gratitude and love. Bye.
Bye.